Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Vidane TV. Back for a little Tim's Corner Motorsports action. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Vidane TV. Back having to listen to myself talk. We'll get all this live TV stuff sorted out here one of these days, folks. Thanks so much for joining us, Showtime. Paul Strickland Jr. up here in the broadcast booth. Ashton Reiki up here as well for the time being. Ashton, how's the confidence in the car after that qualifying lap here?
The car's fantastic. The driver, on the other hand, is slacking a little bit. I know I sponsored this series, but it was really just because I like these cars, and I haven't made a feature yet this year, but it's in the works, and I enjoy doing it every week, so I like seeing these guys battle door to door, and it's always a good time.
Reminds me of back in the day with the Vidane Racing League Season 3, the first season we ever did this sim racing broadcast stuff. We had over 900 drivers show up for 42 spots, and I was one of the co-founders of the league, and I think I made one race that season. So pretty cool to have this many drivers showing up. I think we were up close to 50 drivers registering for this event, and going to go through. We've already done some qualifying, did a couple hours of practice here earlier on at North Wilkesboro, and now we're going to do some heat races, some consolation races, and set ourselves up a 22-car field. And how about this? Robbie Kennelly going to start down on the bottom in that 1K ride, and the 141 of Rational Richard Drake going to start on the outside. Green flag flies for the very first time this evening.
Yeah, great start there by everybody for the first heat race. They're already 3 wide. This is a track that's pretty wide open. A few different lanes that they can choose from right off the start when the tires are nice and grippy. So it's going to be interesting to watch, not just the heat races, as they're 3 wide coming off of 4 with the 22, the 110, and the 41. Great race back there. I believe that is for the 6th, 7th, 8th position in that area there.
Yeah, right outside the top 5. These guys going at it in a big way. Keith Lord back there as well. There you see, right in the middle. No, that's Brett Byron in the 22 in the middle. They're still 3 wide. Ashton crossing the stretch. They finally get it sorted out. Looked like the 41 of Jason Goss going to get the advantage and try and set his sights on the battle now for third up in towards the front. Ashton, check it out. The high side's coming in.
Yeah, the high side doesn't have to come in at this track. That's one thing I noticed in practice there was I went up there early on, and there was already sort of a line there. You see the guys diving down to the bottom because that is still going to be the preferred line, but it is there. If that's the line that you feel most comfortable running, you can really start gaining some momentum and really run on that high side. So as the broken record always says, the high side will come in, and it will be a part again in this race.
Big wiggle there from the 18 car of Langeli, gets it sorted out, tucks back into the tire tracks of Brett Suggs. They're in the 33, coming on back up from down south. It's down trying to run the Snowball or the Snowflake 100. Unfortunately, had some, I believe, it was engine problems with that 33, or not the 33, but TH Motorsport ride. So didn't get the weekend they were looking forward to, but great to see Suggs back here on the iRacing world here on Vidane TV, running well, like we usually see him up in that 3rd position, that transfer spot right now. As we talked to the big boss man, Tim Terry, earlier on before the show, taking the top 3 from these heat races, and, well, the consolation races, we'll figure that out once we get there. 4 laps to go, though, here in the first heat race. Right now, Kennelly, Drake, and Suggs holding on to the transfer spots.
Yeah, great race. They've kind of spread themselves out, and Suggs is slowly catching the back of Richard Drake. I'm just going to go back and touch on that the Snowflake there. A couple drivers that we know the names of: Nicholas Noggle, Brett Suggs, some Lapsovich. Lapsovich was up in the he ran the Snowball Derby and did very well up until 18 to go when he was involved in the big one there. And it's really cool to see those names turn back around and come back and race in these little series that we have going on just in our hometowns, and having all the support from all across North America.
And it's always cool to be able to bridge the gap too, right, between sim racing and real racing. And it's always neat to kind of sit back and watch on whatever streaming site you might be watching on and say, hey, I've watched that guy race on Vidane TV a time or two. So very cool to see that, and very cool to see heat race number 1 just about in the books. 3 and 4 one more time for Rob Kennelly. He's going to take that checkered flag, and he's got some room in behind him.
Brett Suggs around out of 4.
Ooh, big time wreck, you're right. Doesn't
he was
look
taking
like...
out.
We can back that up. Rex again coming across the stripe there. If iRacing will let us do the quick... Oh, there you can see a little bit of a receipt there. It's tough to get the replay when we switch through these heat races like that, but that's a tough thing. We're going to have to see that 33 car back in the consolation race coming up here.
Yeah, it looks like Josh Liangelo was given a black flag at the end of that one. There was contact coming out of 4. I was watching them come out of 4 because Josh was catching them. I think he just got on it a little early, and Brett didn't slide up as fast as Liangelo thought he was going to. Got in the back of him, wrecked the both of them. So tough luck there for both those drivers, because now both of them are going to have to go to a last chance qualifier.
About some quick names up in this field for sure. Tanton Woldridge, I think he's been fastest in practice each and every week for the past 3 years since we've been running these TCM special events. Very, very quick in that 28 car, starting on the point here for heat race number 2. Colton Everham going to start outside of him. Scott Negus, Craig Tully there in row number 2. Quentin Carpenter, Todd Cousins there in row 3. Dave Roberts, Derek Gates, Terry Duguay, Tony Wright, and Eugene Thorne going to be the 11 drivers kicking things off here for us in heat race number 2. Again, here tonight for the TCM special event series here, carrying us on through the winter months here with the WingNut Productions late model stock series, race number 3 here at North Wilkesboro. And we've seen some pretty good races here with these late model stocks, Ashton.
Yeah, absolutely. The late model stocks, the open-wheeled modifieds, which is not something we do too much with TCM, but I've done some other races here. And then the super late models, the Tulco Electric super late models, have also visited this track quite a few times, and they're always great races. Like I said, it's a wide track, wide corners, always some room to make some passing. We saw already some 3 wide in the first in the first heat there, so I can only assume that there's plenty more of that to come. A great lineup of drivers in this second heat as they are getting ready to come to green. I believe they're coming out of 1 and 2, so they're going to go down the backstretch, warm those tires up, get ready to roll. Heat number 2, again, a stacked field, so this should be very interesting to see who can make it in.
How cool is it to see North Wilkesboro on the iRacing service with all the Winston Cup Series style logos in the background? Green flag flies, already making contact for the point. The 48 comes down just a little bit. Says hello to the 28 car of Tanton Woldridge. Woldridge going to pull away, though, here. Looks like he's going to have the lead, but for how long, Ashton?
Yeah, that was a crazy move by Colton Everingham, and I don't know if that's really something you want to do this early in a heat race. You don't want to make any enemies when you've got a long race to go early. He was kind of pinching him down on the start. Tanton Woldridge is a very young kid, very experienced driver, in my opinion, though. He's a local guy around here. He's raced many things. He had his chance in a pro late model this year. Did very well, and I think he's taken some of that knowledge and brought it here because he's making that middle lane work very well. With the 50 car right in tail and 55, it's a great battle up front right away.
Look at the steering wheel on the 48 car trying to jump on in and take a peek, but this is the best seat in the house. This is the most action I think we've seen all night long, just sawing on that steering wheel. Left, right, straight, trying to get that thing sorted out, and you can see they're still 2x2 going in to that sun glare coming out of turn number 2 in the 28 car. Still up on that high side. Woldridge trying to make that high side work, but man, Everingham is just sending that 48 car down into the corners.
Yeah, he's not going to have much of a right rear. This isn't necessarily a feature line that you want to use. You see him coming out of the corners, that backhand's kicking out, which these cars are one of those cars that everybody says is hard to get loose, and it helps that car turn when you do get it loose like that, but you certainly don't have much of a right rear tire left. I would say, 20 to 25 laps in, so that's certainly not a line he's going to want to use in the feature, but for a heat race, if it keeps you out front and it gives you that heat race win, you most definitely keep pushing it like that.
Little puff of smoke. Roberts in the 128 car having some issues there. 5 laps to go. They almost get it sorted out. Big wiggle for Tully back in the 3rd position. He's going to slide on back just a little bit. Negus in the 55 car going to make a shot up in that middle groove, and Ashton, they're still side by side for the lead.
Yeah, side by side, 2 back, and just lurking behind them is Todd Cousins in the 2 car. I don't know if he's just buying his time and thinking maybe these guys are going to take each other out, but those 4 cars in front of him, those 4 drivers, very experienced iRacing drivers, experienced behind the IRL wheels, and I don't think there's many mistakes to be had there as Negus slides up to the top, and maybe there is something in the 2 car there that he's coming up pretty quick because now he's below Tully and going for that 3rd place position.
Oh, the way down to the bottom of the racetrack there for the Todd Cousins machine in that number 2, trying to get under Craig Tully in the number 50 ride. Negus is right there as well. Big wiggle for the 48. They take the white flag, still side by side. Going into turn number 1, big send for the 48. Slides up the track just a little bit here, Ashton. Coming down the back straightaway for the final time.
Yeah, coming into 4, the 48's going to have to send, and he's going to have to hope it sticks. He slides up. 8 wheels turn better than 4. There's going to be a drag race to the end. The 2 car to the bottom.
Cousins!
That is going to go to the 2 car in the 3rd place position. The 50 would take 4th, and I believe only 3 qualify. So we are going to see Todd Cousins in the feature and the 50 car in the LCQ.
Yeah, what a wild finish. And that last 20 feet of racetrack is essentially when that happened. So that kind of goes to show you here with the short track racing, North Wilkesboro, VidaneTV, anything can happen. You got to wait until the last lap here. And looks like you're going to be in the last heat race as we take a quick peek here in the grid for the 3rd heat race of the evening. Carson Agnew, the 93 car, going to start up front with Chris Roman, the number 83 car, starting P2.
I don't have it up here, but I believe it's Chris Walsh in the 2nd row with, I believe, Devin Laffin.
Nailed it. And Brandon Campbell, our good buddy in the 99 car, going to roll off P5. Doug Murphy there in 6th. 7th's going to belong to Andrew Tatry, Colin Boudreau, Craig Kenny, Dave Horton, and Ryan Libby jumping on in from the NEP series and the Turn 4 podcast series that we'll see here tomorrow night on VidaneTV. Going to round out the field for this one, and we're going to see who's going to make the show and who's going to go try and get into some of these consolation races to make it in at the last chance for romance, as we like to call them here at VidaneTV. And as soon as we can get this Big Newton's logo off the screen, we'll be able to take a look at the heat racing action.
Yeah, another heat, and I go through the names here full, and I don't want to say stacked, but full of great names. Your Carson Nagy's, Chris Roma, Chris Walsh, Brandon Campbell, who we haven't seen behind the wheel for a little bit, Andrew Tatry, all names that are usually front runners or at least mid-pack to the front runners. So another great heat full of very talented drivers coming up for heat number 3. A little bit of a late start there for the 093 as he was the control car. So as they went green, good jump on that, and some side-by-side action behind them in the 7th, 8th area, but they seem to sort it out. They get it single file. Now it's Brandon Campbell on the bottom, making his way up to the 4th. Well, he was trying for the 4th position there as he's below the, looks like the 53 or the 63. The fury of Chris Walsh.
Trying to get the video feed all sorted out as Ashton gets the audio sorted out, letting us know the action on the track. There we go. I think we got it. Live TV, folks. It works out great when we need it to. There's our buddy Brandon Campbell, made up a spot up in the 4th position. A little side-by-side action. The first side-by-side battle between Chris Walsh and Doug Murphy, battling it out for that 5th position. They know they've got to get up into the top 5. They got to get around Brandon Campbell, and they're going to have to get around the 8 car as well. Taking 3 from these heat races right now. It's Nagy, Roma, and Laffin up in the top 3 spots with 7 laps to go.
Yeah, the 99 to Campbell is closing on that front pack. He's able to go a little deeper into the corner and seems to hold. He's got a really good line through the center off, so that's something to keep an eye on, especially this early on with halfway. I guess we're coming to halfway through this heat race. He's got to get one more position, and he'd be in the big show. Right now we see Carson Nagy and Chris Roma kind of pulling away from the 8 as they come through 1 and 2, and the 99 seems to have kind of just held that position. So a single file kind of the front of this one, and the first double file battle is still the 63 and the 81 of Chris Walsh back there.
Yeah, you can see, he made mention, they've kind of sorted it out up in the front 4 or 5 cars, kind of single file. There you see the 81 has a mirror full of Walsh and Craig Kenny, and behind, a little side-by-side action. Side-by-side a little bit further on back between Tatry and Horton as well. But with 4 laps to go, everybody kind of spread out. It doesn't look like we're going to get a yellow flag to bunch these guys back up. And that's exactly what Nagy wanted to see in that 93 car. Started on the point, wanted to make sure he finished up in those top 3, and what better way to do it than to come home with a win, coming out of turn 4 to popsicle sticks. 2 laps to go here in heat race number 3, and Ashton, we're getting closer and closer to setting the field for the big show here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. It keeps throwing me off the 63 of Chris Walsh. So I know Nagy from Flamborough, Ontario, where he raced, and his first couple of years when he ran karts, he was number 63, in honor of his grandfather. Who ran many races in the Ontario area and was very well known. And his father ran in the Canadian Tire Series, I believe, was also the 63. So every time I jump between those numbers, it throws me off, the 63 and the 93. So it really throws me off.
It doesn't matter what number's on the car, still coming home with that checkered flag here, winning the heat race, making the big show. Roma and Laffin going to be in there as well. Our buddy Brandon Campbell going to have to see what he can do in one of those consolation races coming up here, as well as everybody else. And I'm not going to push the button that screwed it up last time. We're going to let this thing sort out, and there we go. It switched right over. How about that? It's funny how the live TV works. Heat race number 4, Ashton, we'll let you run back down to the car, get strapped in for this one. And remember, you got to make it top 3, bud, to get into this show. Already laser focused. Dylan Black going to start up on the point there in the 08 car. Sam King from New York going to roll off P2. Kyle Boudreau rolling off P3. Chantel Pottle going to roll off P4. Heat race victory for the 05 car there a couple weeks back here on VidaneTV. Travis Roma, Brady Cox going to roll off in row number 3. Danny Fitch, number 29, row 4, I think that is. Dave Cassidy there in row 4 as well. Wade Craswell, Ashton Reekie, and Trevor Smith going to round out the 11 drivers in this field to kick things off. Remember, taking the top 3 here, folks, after 10 laps to the big show here tonight. And anybody outside that top 3, well, they're going to have 2 chances here, 2 consolation races to see if they can race their way in. And we had over 50 drivers qualify or sign up for this event here tonight. The feature's only going to hold 22 of the North America's best sim racers from the Maritimes and Canada, parts of the New England areas kind of sprinkled in here as well, south of the wall. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. Some live iRacing action here on a Taco Tuesday on VidaneTV. As always, Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. up here pushing the buttons. Ashton Reekie calling the race from the car. We're going to let him focus on the heat race because we want to see our boy make the top 3 in this one. So you folks are stuck with me this heat race. There goes the pace car. Green flag flies. Barney in the flag stand says go, go, go. Racing once again. Heat races underway. Number 4, I believe it is, on the evening. Dylan Black getting the start that he needs. He's going to clear the side-by-side battle now for second. Sam King in the 7 car going to clear as well. Talking to the tire tracks of the 08. Even going to dip down low just a little bit. Take a peek and see if he can make a little magic happen, but nothing quite there. Going to tuck right back into the bumper. Has to check up just a little bit, as does the 26 car of Kyle Boudreau. Gets a little bit sideways. Chantel Pottle in the mix as well in the 05 car down at the bottom of the racetrack. Great improvement from the driving of the 05 car. Chantel up in the top 5, trying to break in to the top 3. You can see trying to make a little magic happen, a little contact between her and the 76 car of Brady Cox. They keep it straight, they keep it going, they keep thundering, racing for that transfer spot. Ashton Reekie finds himself pointed in the wrong direction, a little puff of smoke. We stay green here at this point. Chantel Pottle completes the pass in the 05 car, gets around Brady Cox. Brady Cox now under fire from Roman. The 38 gets into the corner of the 05, sends Chantel Pottle around, the 26 around as well. The 29, everybody third on back involved in this one. Man, oh man, that is some tight racing here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Caution flag flies for the first time here this evening.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, Ashton, you got the helmet off already, huh, bud?
Nope, not at all. I'm still in the car, just catching up to the back of the field, but I don't know, I think that just saved me. I was trying something a little different here. I was trying to run the high side right off the start and got myself loose. It was all my own fault there, and I don't know what happened behind me. All I saw in my rearview mirror was cars sideways, so I think that saved me, and I might still have a chance to at least start better in the LCQ.
And that's what it's all about. The better you finish here in the heat races, the better you get to start in the LCQ. And we can take a peek at the, what is that, is that a shark?
We're doing a military throwback this week.
Military throwback on the 26th. So rolling off P9, still trying to get this this live TV thing sorted out. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with the video feed here this evening, but there's a great shot. There we go. Caught back up to the end of the field. 5 laps to go. You think you got anything for him?
I don't know if I have anything for them, but I'm going to try something different than what I was just trying because it wasn't working.
No doubt. Ashton Reekie down in the 26 car. A little military throwback for that car. Good looking car. I might do my S10 pickup with that same paint scheme. It's kind of neat. We're lined up 2 by 2. Sam King in the 7 car going to start down on the bottom side. Dylan Black in the 08 up on the top. Bright green for that 113 of Dave Cassidy. Wade Craswell on his outside there in row number 2. Kyle Boudreau, Danny Fitch in behind them. Trevor Smith, Ashton Reekie, Travis Roma, Chantel Pottle, and Brady Cox. All 11 drivers still on the lead lap with 4 laps to go, and we've seen some crazy things happen here on Vidane TV. Sam King holds on to the lead, but for how long? Here comes Dylan Black in the 08 car, taking a peek down on the bottom side. Ashton Reekie up into the outside wall. A little bit too high there, bud. King holds on to the lead in 3 and 4. The 08 car now up a little bit higher on the racetrack, trying to find some grip up in that higher groove. Easy enough for me to say as Dave Cassidy holds on to that transfer spot. Big wiggle though for the 113, the 26 car of Boudreau. Takes a peek down low. He's at his quarter panel. Does he have enough time to get up to the door panel with the white flag, a white rag here at North Wilkesboro Speedway? Top 3 make the big show. Everybody else goes home in the goes into the consolation race. Dave Cassidy gonna hold on to that P3 right now. The 26 gonna get up there, has an opportunity to use that chrome horn, does not. They're wrecking in behind. Give the checkered flag to Sam King. Dylan Black gonna finish in 2nd, and Dave Cassidy gonna move on to the big show here this evening. Everybody else gonna have to line those cars back up on pit road one more again for one of those consolation races here, and I think we may very well be sliding into one of these consolation races here. That means we're going to be hearing from Tim momentarily and find out just how many of these drivers we're going to be taking in this one. And well, Ashton, it looks like you're going to be lining up in that second consolation race here. How'd the car go? How did that plan go for that second half of the race?
It got kind of messy in front of me, so I kind of laid back, just hoping that they were going to wreck and I could get through, and that's kind of what it was doing. I saw Trevor get spun in front of me, and then that Calamity out of 4, I picked up at least 2 more spots, so a little bit better starting in the LCQ. We'll run another, what are the last chance race, 12 laps, and then I'll grab a hot dog and grab a burger for you and a Pepsi, and I'll be back up.
That's what I'm talking about. Brett Byron going to start up on the pole in this one, in that 22 car. Very, very quick. Ran a lot of 3 wide in that first heat race of the night. The 26 car we saw just a few moments ago. Kyle Boudreau going to roll off P2. Doug Murphy, Nick Pachier going to roll off row number 2. Quentin Carpenter, Wade Craswell, Chris Walsh, Tony Wright, Kyle Abbott, and Travis Roma. 10 cars in this one. Ryan Libby not taking, making it rather, to the green on this one. And Ashton, if you could do me a huge favor and see if you can hit old Timmy on the pager there and see if we can find out just how many cars were taken out of these consolation races.
Yeah, just give me 1 second. I'll jump over to race control there and figure out what we can do here.
What do the cool kids call that? Channel 2 on the radio?
Yeah, I'll go over to channel 2.
Go over to channel 2 there and find out what's going on. But we're all lined up 2 by 2 throughout the field. Byron and Boudreau up on the front. Carpenter, Murphy, Craswell, the top 5. And we saw some crazy action in that last heat race. And man, oh man, we're going to find out just how many of these drivers we're going to be taking. Ashton runs back up to the booth already. How many are we taking?
I believe we're taking 4. 4 is what the number was told to me.
1, 2, 3, 4. So you don't necessarily have to make it to the podium. It always helps because 3 is better than 4. But the green flag flies once again here at North Wilkesboro. Shout out of a canyon. That 22 of Byron is right where he needs to be. 3-4 car lengths over the battle now. 4-second Kyle Boudreau holding on to it on that high side, but the 92 of Doug Murphy trying to dip down low, taking a peek down low. And now he's going to go up on that high side and see if he can make that magic happen. Oh, big slide for the 92 car up in front of the 122.
Yeah, these cars, as much as I thought they didn't have much of a slide, when I got in the car there for that last heat race, this track has really slickened off. It's going to become a driver's race. As you can see there, the 22 kind of slides up, and then you had the same kind of calamity as Boudreaux kind of slid down. The yellow comes out. I missed that. I don't know if you can catch it quicker than I can, but I didn't see what happened there.
Yeah, NYK pointing in the wrong direction. Big wreck there for Nick Potier in the 110, and looks like may have disconnected from the session. We'll see if we can get this U.S. Racing Designs replay sorted out. It's been giving us a little bit of sass here throughout the evening, but let's take a peek at it. You can see the 67 gets a little bit loose into the 62, down into the inside wall there, and looks like it may have been ejectocito because from the session. And we heard remember how many incidents is the cap here this evening, but I know it's a relatively fair amount. We might have just seen our first victim.
I know Nick. It looks like it almost manually disconnected. So I wonder if he hit the wrong button just to try and get out of the way, get off the track type deal. Yeah, because he manually disconnected and then now he's back. So I'm thinking that was maybe just an attempt to not bring out the yellow courtesy and just trying to hit the wrong button. Ejected himself.
Just like live TV, just like real racing, you've got your electrical demons. And hey, sometimes you hit the wrong button. It happens to us all the time. Matter of fact, I just hit the wrong button like 12 times in a row.
Okay, but I don't think there's ejection sheets in cars.
Not yet. Green flag flies. Another great start for Brett Byron in the 22 car. Looking in at this rear view mirror, though, the battle heating up for second. The 26 has it. Big slide for the 112 of Quentin Carpenter. He's holding on to third right now, and Doug Murphy's got the transfer spot. But for how long? Roma's charging on that middle groove.
Yeah, not only that, the blue and black car right in front of him. I'm going to say, is that... You're going to have to help me out with the names here. Doug Murphy. Doug Murphy's also on a mission. He enters the corner really far deep in on the bottom and is able to get it to rotate and gets off the corner really well. Again, something that would burn up the tires, but in a quick race, a quick dash like this, you got to kind of give it your all.
Use a little Stafford Speedway momentum there. You kind of get that car down on the apron, use that apron to de-wedge the car, get it to turn just a little bit better. But man, oh man, is it a handful as he ended up having to saw back and forth on that wheel to make sure that thing keeps pointed in the right direction. 4 laps to go, and that 26 car is on a mission. Wants to make the big show, but wants the checkered flag, wants to be able to say that he won the first of the 2 consolation races here, and he's doing everything he can to do that. 3 laps to go. Count them, 1, 2, 3, and you can see the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars all single file right now. The 22, though, going to take a peek down low, see if there's something there as they get into 3 and 4.
Yeah, if I'm Brett Byron, which I'm very rarely in a transfer position, anything like this, at this point there, I'm sitting back. I'm comfortable. I got 2 cars behind me. They're starting to battle. Sit back, make the feature, and hope for the best, because things are starting to heat up right behind them, or a car behind them with the 92 and the 38.
Yeah, the 92 has that transfer spot. The 38 can smell it. He's right on the back bumper, and he sees that he's got 1 more lap to try and make that transfer spot. Little bit of a slip up there for the 92. Holds on to it. No harm, no foul. That time, everybody single file in front. The 38 going to send it on, and is he going to use the bumper? He's right on the bumper, pushing the 92 car across the line. There you see the 92 gets a little bit of an overreaction there, but makes the show. Quentin Carpenter, Brett Byron, and Kyle Boudreaux all making their way in to the big show here tonight, and everybody else, so they're going to have to hook themselves up with a great big tall glass of hot cocoa, and they're going to have to tune in and watch along here live on Vidane TV. And Ashton will let you go to work once again, running back down into that car, rolling off P7 here in the consolation race. Got to get top 4. Good luck, man. Ashton Riki already down and away, laser focused in that car. Going to try and qualify the very first time in this series, and WingNut Productions, his company, sponsors the series, and it's like a big throwback to me and Vidane Racing back in season 3, 10, 15 years ago. You make a popular series that everybody wants to race in, but we're all a little bit quicker than you are, so it's a little bit tough to get into the races. But man, oh man, lining them up once again for some Conci racing here. Top 4 making it into the show. Craig Tully, Jason Goss rolling off P1 and 2. Danny Vitch, Colin Boudreau, Derek Gates going to be in the top 5 as everybody tucks in behind the pace car. Derek Gates there as well. Alex Johnson, Ashton Reek, we made mention, rolled off P7. Dave Horton, Josh Langell, Eugene Thorne, and Trevor Smith. The 11 cars making the field up here. 12 laps on the docket once again. And again, to make the big show, you got to get in to the top 4. Everybody else going to have to get a corn dog and a Coke, or maybe a hot cocoa. It is getting chilly out there. Winter months and all that. But going to join us here on Vidane TV, and pace car going to do just that. Down onto the safety of pit road. Green flag flying once again. Oh, big wreck. Ashton, where are you going, bud? The 26 car pointed in the wrong direction. Caution flag flies before we even get across the stripe. Oh, man, Ashton. I think that was, he was thinking about the racetrack food. I'll give him that. Racetrack burgers are pretty good. And he did mention he was going to bring one up for me, too, so. But man, tough break, lots of damage it looks like on the front of the 26 car. Not able to get up to snuff there, and it's going to give everybody kind of an opportunity to take advantage of that start once again. Another opportunity at a restart and kind of see where everybody's at. And as you can see, it almost looks like we're still under green flag conditions as... No, we're just trying to find where the pace car is. There we go. There's the pace car. Everybody getting caught up once again, and this will give everybody an opportunity to kind of get sorted out once again, and got to get those nerves calmed down just a little bit, because you know you've got a short time to get up into that top 4, and we've seen some crazy things go on here at VidaneTV. Heck, we've seen some crazy things go on here this evening on VidaneTV. We're lined up once again, 2 by 2, all the way through, and the lights are off atop the iRacing pace car. Going to give everybody once and again an opportunity to get that start and or restart. And there you see Tully doing what he needs to do. Gets up in front of the 41 of Goss, kind of blocking that high line just a little bit. Danny Vitch in the 29 car there in the 3rd position, but for how long? He's going to take a shot down on the bottom side, see if he can get around Goss in the 41 car and pad his position just a little bit. And you can see the 01 right in behind there, or the 81 rather. Oh, big wreck in behind. Ashton Reiki gets on through. Dave Horton, though, gets a big piece of damage, as well as the 014 of Alex Johnson. Caution flag flies once again here in North Wilkesboro. There you see a little 3-4 wide action. We saw that earlier on, the 18 up into the 73. The 014 was loose by himself on the high side, and a couple of cars going for the same piece of real estate. Big back bumper damage there as that Taco Bell car gets backed into. You can hear grabs a gear and gets going once again, but going to lose a lot of track position. Going to have to restart in the back of the field here as well, and that's a tough place to be at North Wilkesboro especially, but especially when you're only going to have maybe 4 or 5 laps on this restart to try and get up into the top 4 to make the big show here tonight. So damage definitely not going to help you out, and spending time down there on pit road not going to help you out as well. And you can see the front couple of cars relatively clean, not too much damage on these late model stocks, and you can see they're kind of piling in there behind the pace car. Lights still on top. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in here to VidaneTV's coverage of the Tim's Corner Motorsports WingNut Productions late model stock series here. Race number 3 of 5. We'll have 5-6 pack here of late model stocks racing. We've got a full week of iRacing coming up here. Tomorrow night, the Turn 4 podcast iRacing Winter Series race number 2 here at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Thursday night, NEP returns. We're going to be at Stafford Motor Speedway. And then Friday night, the Toco Electric Super Late Model is going to be back here on VidaneTV as well. Packed house here at the racetrack. Packed week here on the schedule. And man, oh man, it is a packed field trying to get into the big show here tonight. Craig Tully holds on to the lead. Jason Goss has second for right now, but it is an absolute dogfight for third. 3 wide as the L81 car sends it all the way up on the high side. 3 laps to go as they cross the stripe. Top 2 got it sorted out. Josh Langill holding on for dear life there in that 3rd position. The 81 has the transfer spot for the time being, but the 44 of Trevor Smith is there to 29 of Danny Fitch. He's now side by side with the 44 as well. Langell, big slide in the 18 car, holds on to it. The 41 car sliding it on in P2, trying to track down Tully, but Tully's driving off into the sunset. He's going to get into 3 and 4. He's going to see that white flag when they get out of turn number 4. White flag for Craig Tully. Last lap here in the consolation race. Jason Goss all sorted out. Josh Langell going to try and maybe take a shot down on the bottom side. Nothing there. Going to tuck into the tire tracks for the final time. One more shot. Langell going to think a little bit better of it. Checkered flag flying for Craig Tully. He's going to take the win here for the consolation race. Jason Goss, Josh Langell, 2nd and 3rd. Colin Boudreau going to finish in 4th and move on in to the big show here tonight. And everybody else going to have to heat up a little bit of hot cocoa. Oh, just kidding. We got ourselves one more consi race, and it looks like we're going to be taking 4 from here as well. We might have to get a little bit of an update on the starting lineup here, because the 3rd consolation race, it throws a little bit of a monkey wrench into this one. But let's take a peek at the starting lineup. A couple, you starting with 3 dubs up front: the 99, the 55, and the 33. Campbell, Negus, and Suggs going to be rolling off 1, 2, and 3. Chantal Pottle going to roll off in the 4th position. Craig Kenny, Terry Duguay, Taylor Layton, Brady Cox, Andrew Tatry, Dave Roberts, Devin Smith, going to be the 11 drivers rolling for the final 4 spots here this evening. And we got 105 laps on the docket in the big show here tonight, and it is going to be an absolute blast. And we thank you for tuning in here to VidaneTV's coverage. A little iRacing action here tonight. We're live on Facebook, live on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, all over the place. Give us that like, the subscribe, the share, all that good stuff. Let your friends and family know that you're watching a little bit of iRacing action here on a Tuesday night. Up 2 by 2 behind that pace car. Lights are off as they come down the back straightaway, giving the other drivers an opportunity to check their belts, make sure they're good and tight, and gets themselves ready to rock and roll for one final time here in this consi race. The 99 down low, the 55 up high. Suggs and Chantal Pottle in behind there for row number 2. Green flag flies once again here at North Wilkesboro. Great start for the 99 of Campbell. Going to hold off the charge for that 2nd and 3rd position. They're side by side. Suggs going to kind of sort it out. Almost. The 55 gets a little bit of a run on the high side. Now they get single file. Suggs tucks in behind the 99. The 55 of Negus tucks into his tire tracks, and Chantal Pottle going to do the very same in behind the number 55. Terry Duguay in the 14. And the first side-by-side battle is between he and Craig Kenny there for the 5th position. Brady Cox there behind as well, just racing his way into onto your screen there. Taylor Layton back in the mix as well. 11 drivers fighting for these top 4 spots, but these top 4 drivers, they're kind of hooked up and they're driving away into the sunset, and they're still side by side there for 5th, 6th, and 7th. So with 10 laps to go, definitely a good spot to be in as Campbell holds on to the lead. Suggs taking a peek on the high side, doesn't see anything there. Now he's going to take a peek down low, and we've seen Brett Suggs do this many, many times here on VidaneTV. Very versatile driver, as he can use the high line, low line all over the racetrack and really kind of utilize the car and make it work for him. And you can see he's going to get down and kind of complete the pass now almost. Brandon Campbell going to come back, charging on the high side. The 55 going to slide up the racetrack just a little bit. Opens the door briefly for Chantel Pottle, but she thinks better of it. Cuts back in to the tire tracks. A little bit of a connection issue, it looks like, for the 99 of Brandon Campbell up on that high side. Makes it tough to kind of attack the racetrack. As you can see, Brett Suggs now has a comfortable car length, maybe two, over the 55 of Negus. Chantel Pottle there in fourth. A little bit of a slide. Brandon Campbell going to slide back into that third position, but he's going to keep trying to utilize that middle lane. Definitely seems like there might be something there. Chantel Pottle up into the 99. Around goes Brandon Campbell. That is a tough break for the 99 car. Yellow flag flies with 6 laps to go, and the 99 car going to have to jump through the field once again, as losing a lot of track position here in the late going to this consolation race. And we'll see if there's any kind of penalty on the 05 car. There was a bit of a connection blip there as well, so we'll see what goes on with the big red trailer down there, and we'll see if we can get official word on that momentarily. But as they run right now, there you see it. Brett Suggs is your leader as he comes up behind the pace car there in turn number 3. Scott Negus in the 55 is in second. Chantel Pottle, Brady Cox, and Craig Kenny, the top 5 as they run. Taylor Layton there as well. Dave Roberts in the field, gained a couple of spots so far. Andrew Tatchery, Devin Smith, Terry Duguay, all in the mix still as well. A little damage there for Duguay into the 14 car. You can see the 99 car of Campbell going to come down pit road and potentially maybe get some tires put on that thing. We'll see if that works out. Not sure what that'll do here with just 4 laps to go here, but definitely something to test out in for later on in this one. Car rejoining the field, still on the lead lap, so definitely good news there, but a tall order to get up through the field. Gonna have to end up passing 6 or 7 cars to get up into the top 5, into the top 4 and gain one of those transfer spots. And we've seen the top 4 hold on to those positions pretty tightly here through the first 10 laps of this one. Suggs and Negus gonna roll off 1 and 2. Chantel Pottle, Cox, and Kenny there, the top 5 as they run, as they take the restart there. And you can see lights off 2 by 2. The pace car going to dip off on to pit road for what could be the final time this consolation race. Great restart for the 33 of Brett Suggs. Green flag flying. 2 laps to go in this final consi race. A little bit of a wiggle for the 55. Slips up just a little bit, opening the door for Brady Cox in the 76 car. Going to peak down low. Holds the spot for right now, trying to overdrive the 55, slides just a little bit, but white flag flies. All they have to do is make it into the top 4. Here comes Craig Kenny, hard charging inside the 05 of Chantel Pottle, but they don't think he's going to have enough time to get down in to that 4th position. They're still side by side there for second. They're all chasing Brett Suggs. Suggs going to take the checkered flag. Scott Negus is going to finish second. Brady Cox finishes in third. Chantel Pottle 4th. Craig Kenny in the 5th position. Taylor Layton, Devin Smith, Andrew Tatchery, and Terry Duguay with Dave Roberts rounding out the top 10. Brandon Campbell appears to still have some damage on that 99 car. He rounds out the field, finishes in the 11th position. So we'll let the big red trailer do all the math and find out who's racing where and who's starting who and how many cars are going to be in this feature, and we'll get it all sorted out. We'll take a peek here at the starting lineup here. We got a final 60 seconds or so of warm-up, and this is kind of the opportunity where these drivers will get themselves a drink, get a good stretch in, final stretch, make sure everything is good to go and in position for the main show here tonight. And again, got to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. It's been a great great hour or so of qualifying. We ran some qualifying laps earlier on, did some heat races, little consolation races here as well, and getting ready for the big show. 105 laps on the docket here tonight. We're live on Facebook, we're on Twitch, we're on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, all over the place. Be sure to give us the likes, the subscribes, the shares, all that good stuff, especially over on the Facebook page. Got to thank everybody everybody for tuning in over the past 3 or 4 years here at Vidane TV. We have surpassed our goal of 2,000 followers. I think we're already up to like 2,030 or 2,035, which is fantastic. Very, very cool. Thank you, everybody who follows the Facebook page. And if you don't, shoot on over. Give us the like, give us a subscribe, and find that bright orange 2020 or 2,000 followers. It's a bright orange logo. Share that post. Because I think what we're going to do this week is we're going to use that post for our contest, and we're going to give out some hats and some T-shirts and maybe some sweatshirts here at the end of the race. We got a lot of TV shows, or we got a lot of iRacing shows here this week with the Turn 4 podcast tomorrow night, and NEP Thursday night, TCM back here on Friday night. So that's going to be a whole bunch of opportunities for everybody to win some merchandise here from Vidane.net. So shoot over to the Facebook page, like that post, share that post. Bright orange, 2,000 followers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now that that's out of the way, let's get down to business, shall we? Rational Richard Drake in the 141 Laker News ride is going to roll off on the pole. How about that? Sam King going to roll off P2. Carson Nagy there in third. Colton Everingham up high in the points. Going to roll off P4. Robbie Kennelly up there in the fifth position. Going to roll off P5. Tanton Woldridge very quick in the sixth position. How about Chris Roma, Dylan Black, the 83 and the 08 car. And behind them, Keith Lord, Dave Cassidy in 10th and 11th. Devin Laffin, in the 12th position. Craig Tully back here as well in the 50 car. Very, very quick in that ride. Kyle Boudreau in the 13th position. Brett Byron going to roll off P15. And man, oh man, you'll be able to see these drivers as they go across your screen. Jason Goss, Scott Negus back here as well. Quentin Carpenter, Josh Langell, Brady Cox, Doug Murphy, Colin Boudreau, Chantel Pottle are going to be the 24th driver to start this one. And that is very cool to see the 05 car make the feature here tonight. Good opportunity to make up some points. And see, speaking of making up some points, we'll see if we can talk to her, to Ashton here. Ashton, you got my burger?
They're still making it. They didn't put cheese on it the first time, so I had to bring it back.
How did they not put cheese on it? It's a cheeseburger.
Well, right. That's what I said. That's why they're remaking it, and they're making it a double.
Like that. It's all about double downing on Showtime. You gonna join us up here in the booth? 105 laps here on the docket.
I was just about to come up. Actually, I was just saying bye to the race control guys, and I was gonna come over. I brought them a burger first, so.
Ground control to race control. However that song goes. Green flag flies. Richard Drake with that restart, or with the initial start, already driving off into the sunset. He's got about a half a second lead over this hornet's nest in behind him for second place. Holy goodness.
He's going to have to whoa up those ponies. These tires wear off pretty quick at this track.
Indeed they do, and there's a couple of drivers that want to get a little bit of utilization out of these fresh drivers. Tanton Woldridge getting a little bit of a bumpski there on the high side, gets pushed out of shape. The 1K rather, going to get down in below there and try and get down and by. Chris Roma in the mix as well, and you can see the 28 gets up, brushes the wall ever so slightly. They're side by side, the 08 of Black, the 2 of Cousins in there as well. These guys are all over the place. It's lap 3.
That's just the way this track is, Paul. Running that last chance qualifier, and even with the melee at the start of the 2 through the grass, I mean, this all they're wrecking behind them. That was just a melee. That reminded me of the movie Cars. Got to turn right to go left.
Oh, that's 100% what that was. See if we can pull up the U-House Racing Designs instant replay. And these drivers utilizing this track. There's definitely a lot of different grooves here, and it looks like the action's going to already kick off. There you see. Just kind of slowing up to make sure you don't hit anybody in front. And sometimes, well, when you got a car in front of you, you can't see through it. And you don't really know what's going on in front of that driver. So that's when that happens. That's a tough break for a lot of drivers towards the back of the pack. And look at that. We got right back to our live shot. Looks like we got our replay machine all sorted out. And there's Brett Suggs, P15 right now. Looks like he was able to avoid the calamity, and a couple of drivers taking this opportunity to come down pit road, maybe get some damage taken care of. You see Josh Langell down on pit road, Brett Byron, Jason Goss. Ooh, contact between the 55 and the 41. Heavy contact. The crews aren't going to like that. Scott Negus getting into the back of the 41.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there. The 41 seemed to be really slow. I don't know if he was trying to find his pit or whether something's broken on that car, but if it wasn't before, it could very well be now.
And that's a tough break when you're already kind of behind the 8 ball a little bit. As you can see, these drivers going to the pace car, I believe.
Oh, that was tight.
Ooh, that was close. We'll see what timing and scoring says for the 41 car. He's still driving around, so he thinks he won. But we'll see what the official word is here. And with 6 laps down in this one, you ran the heat race, you ran the consolation race here, Ashton. How quickly do these tires fall off in North Wilkesboro?
I didn't really get a chance to wind it up, right? Heat races and the LCQ were kind of short for what they were, but just in practice they were kind of wearing off in the 25 to 30 lap when you were really pushing it. So you kind of got to tune it back, run 3 or 4 tenths off your qualifying pace, your fast pace, and they should be able to last no problem. I believe they all have a set on pit road, so it's just going to come down to strategy.
Strategy is the name of the game here. In the Tim's Corner races we've seen here on VidaneTV over the past 3 years, you're not winning them if you don't have some kind of good strategy. And we've seen so many different plans unfold here throughout the past couple of years. And there's a couple of the best up front. Richard Drake, Sam King, going to get that restart. And Richard Drake's showing us why he's the king of the restarts. Laker News 141 machine, 2-3 car lengths over that second place battle now.
Yeah, and that restart is so key. As they're wrecking right behind the 48, up and on his side, the 7. I was just going to mention the 7 car running a great race, and the paint scheme was beautiful. But I'm not really sure how that all started, Paul. That was a great restart by both guys, and I think the 48 just thought clear, and yeah, the 48 just thought clear, and the 7 was still there.
That's 3 really big hits for 3 really quick cars up towards the front. Oh my goodness.
The 28 involved in that one also of Oldridge, all guys that are regular front runners, not only in this division but in many of Tim Corner's events. This is almost shocking to me for the WingNut Productions pro late models, as I'll call them. This is rare. He's right underneath. Oh, a hard hit right there.
Zeus Marimba.
Yeah, that wheel's certainly not straight. Look at him trying to get that. That's a whole new meaning to dog tracking.
Indeed it is, and it looks like Sam King may very well be done for the evening. The 48 still on pit road. There you see Tan Woldridge right in behind. Lots of damage to the 48 to 28. The 41 looks like, again, barely skating out in front of
yeah, I think he was still. I think he was clear from this one and still working on stuff from the last one. So this working out to the advantage of the guys that were in that first yellow.
He's going to pick up a couple of spots, get a little bit more opportunity to work on the car as well. But Byron, same deal. You can see there's some damage on the front of that car. Is it a little bit backwards? We'll take a peek at some of the folks down towards the back here. I mean, be able to see some of these cars already kind of war torn here in the first 10 laps or so. There's the 8 car of Devin Laugh and everything looking relatively straight on that. Machine Co and Boudreau right up in front of him. Scott Negus in a 55 has some damage up on the front of the double 5 machine. It's a little cattywampus, I'd say, for that Mustang.
Yeah, that downforce there at a track this size that doesn't seem too big, but like you said, former NASCAR Cup Series track, those long back straightaway and front straightaway, that downforce certainly plays a part. Already sneaking into the top 10 is Brett Suggs and Craig Tolley, like guys that come out of the LCQ, already making their way up pretty quickly with these yellows.
Taking a peek from the blimp camera there, you can see side by side Drake down on the bottom side, Kennelly up on the high side. They're side by side and behind as well. Roma and Nagy battling it out for 3rd and 4th. Dylan Black right there in 5th. Todd Cousins trying to make a move on the back bumper of the 08 car. A little slide there for Black back in the 08 car. He's going to take a peek down low, and the guys in front of him, these guys all over the racetrack. This is some great racing here in North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, great racing, and if they can keep it just to some rubbing and some light rubbing, this race can go by really quick. 105 laps around a track that is this fast can really go by quickly. So we had a couple cautions to plague us early, but if they can get single file or double file and work their way out, this race will go by quick, and there'll be a lot of great racing throughout the whole field.
Yeah, my buddy Vinny that I met at the Freedom Factory, he'd say that's a Bloodhounds gang song. Good touch, bad touch with race cars. Sometimes you can rub a little bit, sometimes you probably shouldn't. And right now, these top two guys showing us exactly what good racing is. Always going to try for a crossover in the 1K. Doesn't quite have enough steam there, but man, oh man, these guys, I don't know what that right rear is going to look like. These guys are going at it pretty tough up front.
I mean, Paul, was that a crossover, or was that a, listen, I don't want to run this hard on the high side anymore. I'm going to settle back in, and I'll come back at you later. It most definitely looked like it was a crossover. I was about to yell crossover, and you beat me to it there. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Slide job! Oh, nope, just kidding. He only crossed the T. He didn't dot the I yet. He's going to dot the I in about 20 laps. We'll see what happens.
Imagine you and I announcing some dirt racing. Holy crap.
Yeah, we might have to give it a shot. I know you're out doing some stuff next weekend. We got a little dirt racing coming up. We're doing some street stonk racing on the dirt here at VidaneTV under the TCM banner. That's going to be a lot of fun. I don't think I've called a dirt race here in about a year or so that's going to be a whole
You gotta work on your slide jobs. You gotta work on something like that, because dirt racing is where I stem from. So I sadly have to work. The World Junior A's are here in Truro, Nova Scotia. Really cool. I'll be able to see Canada, USA, Czech Republic, Sweden. Super cool to be able to see all that kind of stuff. But really disappointed that I'm getting to miss the street stock on dirt. Again, where I stemmed my racing from, my actual racing career before I turned to the sim rig, where I can't do much better than my actual racing career anyways.
Yeah, but the cool thing is you'll still be able to tune in and follow along live on VidaneTV.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell the guys to put it up on in the production booth and keep me updated in my ear and on my radio, so that I know what's going on.
Oh, absolutely, 1,000%. There's all sorts of different hardware and technology we can plug into each other to get the live stream. I'm pretty sure we can get hooked up to Starlink. Like we're taking over. VidaneTV. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Twitter. Did I say that? The X, all that stuff. Live all over the place, and we thank everybody once again. And actually, we were talking earlier. Man, we got 2,000 followers over on the VidaneTV Facebook page. How about that?
Gee, you're going big time. We're gonna have to call you the Big Show soon.
Oh, I dig it. The Big Show, Paul Strickland Jr. Oh, that's what happens.
Did we just start something?
Oh, that might be Showtime's glow up.
Oh man, back to the track though. Two wide racing, Brett Suggs, right on the inside of Cousins. I'm shocked to see some of these guys still running the high side with the way the tires wear off and with the way this race has gone. Only 25 laps in, I guess, just under a quarter of the way through. I really expected more guys to go single file and kind of be more patient, but they're moving. They're pulling positions and they're getting going as fast as they can to try and work their way up into that front spot. They're still chasing down Richard Drake, the restart king, up front in front of the 001 of Kennelly and the 093 of Nagy.
Yeah, front 10 or so kind of sorted out. First side-by-side battle is between 10th and 11th. Chantel Pottle, Brady Cox, a little side-by-side action here. And as you take a look at the scoring pylon, that's everybody's best lap time, 18.8, 18.7 or so. Drake just a blistering 18.66 here in a race trim. When we switch that over here to the last lap speed, they've only lost about a tenth, maybe 2/10 a lap here, 27 laps in, and we've only seen a couple of these drivers come down pit road to get some tires and get some damage repair. But you can see that side-by-side battle kind of subsides just a little bit. Cox going to hold on to the spot for right now, but Chantel Pottle having a fantastic run just outside the top 10.
Absolutely, and seeing those times was one that was really cool. I don't think you've shown me that before, but that was really cool to see the drop-offs in those times. And I was noticing some of the guys further on back in your 8th and 9th were still running in the mid to high 18s, which tells me that they're still saving, but they've got a little bit more left. Not saying that they're going to catch these top 3 or 4 who are probably also saving, but really interesting to see the difference in times.
Yeah, lots of cool technology here, brought to you by SDK Gaming. Really helping us out with these iRacing streams that we do almost every night, it seems like. As we take a peek at the leader, we got a We got to fast forward about a lap and a half to catch up with the leader. He's a second, full-on second and a 10th over the field. Richard Drake driving away with it. He's got the laptop up. He's checking out the Laker news, and man, the Laker news headline tomorrow, it's going to be the 141 Laker news ride coming home in victory lane here if he keeps it up. Working lap number 32, has a 1.3 second lead over Robbie Kennelly in second.
Yeah, usually I believe his dad spots for him. And I believe he's his crew chief also in real racing and spots for him on iRACING. I bet you he's up having a snack right now. He's probably not even watching the race right now. He's got a second, just over a second lead, and Kennelly, on top of that, has about the same space going back to Nagy, who's got a mess behind him, and a little bump there from Roma to kind of give him the 1, 2, 3, let's go. It's time to go. We're 34 laps in. That opened the door for Black. They're side by side. This is Nagy's chance to get away.
There's that good touch, bad touch. Nagy sees the opportunity, and he's boogieing. He's out of here. They're side by side in behind him. Roma and Black, the 08 car down in the bottom. He's going to subside just a little bit. He's going to try and tuck up in front of. He's going to force the issue and get up in front of Suggs in that 33 car. Holy cow. Yeah,
and I think Suggs, this is early. This is early. Suggs is going to give him the, this is your opportunity. That was a crossover.
Crossover, slide job. Well, no, he didn't slide in front of him yet. Crossover.
We're training you for next week.
Yeah, we're working on it. We got to work on our dirt slingo. Almost a slide job there. The 33 car, we usually see cool, calm, and collected Brett Suggs. But after myself, last weekend, I did some traveling, some flying down to the Freedom Factory there in Bradenton, Florida. Wreck in the back, caution flag going to fly. But Brett Suggs getting back to North Carolina here in a couple of days and running the TCM, there's got to be some jet lag in there. Yeah, cool, calm, and collected after a couple of days worth of travel. Car didn't quite do what you wanted it to do. We might be seeing an angry Brett Suggs.
They replaced a motor, and I know this isn't going to sound like a lot, that you hear guys replace motors faster, but they replaced a motor in 9 hours. That to me is just mind-blowing.
I could barely change my pants in 9 hours.
Oh.
There you see a little bit of the bad touch there. The 05 to 76, they've been racing back and forth side by side throughout the evening. They had some racing in the Conti race there as well. A little bit of a bumpski from the 05 car. Sends the 76 packing, but able to hold on to the lead lap and rejoin the field here. May have to restart in the back. We'll see if there's a tap on the 05 car from the officials. But Robbie Kennelly going to drop that second spot and come down pit road for some tires and probably to get some of that damage repair. There's some sheet metal damage on the right side of that car.
Yeah, a little bit of sheet metal damage, but I think that looked like a fuel stop. I didn't see the car go up on jacks, but
damage in the 22 of Brett Byron. Scott Negus there on pit road. Man, that car has seen better days. There's a lot of things on that car that are bent, not very many of them straight anymore, but still on the lead lap, holding onto the 16th spot. Chantel Powell going to come down pit road, so she'll restart in the back pack as well. There's the 113 of Dave Cassidy. He's going to come down pit road, and well, in that lime green SRT machine, get some service, get some tires, get a little damage repaired as well. But up front, it's all 141. It's all Richard Drake, Carson Nagy in the 93. Back on the front row. That 93 car is bad quick. We'll see him challenge for the lead here on the restart. Chris Roma right in behind him in the 83 car. Brett Suggs, we made mention, he's had a solid night here tonight. Qualified outside the top 10, 14th, I believe. Up in the 4th spot right now in the 33. Dylan Black quick all night. He's holding on to the 5th spot. Todd Cousins, we've seen very hungry in that 2 car. We've seen some moves out of that 2 car. Rolling right now in the 7th position. It looks like Kyle Boudreau in the 26 up there as well. Craig Tully, Josh Langell, and Keith Lord. I don't think we've talked about Keith Lord all evening. He's making his way into the top 10 for the first time tonight.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up, Paul. So there was some chat just over the radio there. I was just listening to Race Control. 17, I believe, has a meatball flag. And he said there's nothing wrong with the car. So they were trying to get it cleared, but for some reason iRacing is not letting them clear. So maybe just keep an eye on him.
Yeah, that's gonna be
he just came over the radio and said the car is perfectly fine.
Very, very
So it's weird that iRacing, maybe a glitch, maybe something going on there, but not allowing them to clear that. So they are working on that. Something to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something else to keep an eye on. How about a battle for the lead? Richard Drake not used to this here so far tonight. Nagy doing everything he can. That high line's in. It ain't coming in anymore. That high line's in. Nagy's making it work.
Yeah, that high line's in, but it takes a lot of... See, he's sideways. A little bit of a slideways off the corner there for the 93. We're not on dirt, Nagy. That's next week. And I know he can drive on dirt because that's where I met him. So I'm sure we'll see him next week in the street stocks on the dirt track. But for now, keep that right rear underneath you.
You know, we're going to have the big show, Paul Strickland Jr. calling his first dirt race in who knows how long. And it's just going to be Winnie the Pooh noises all race long.
Winnie the Pooh or Piglet?
Either one of them. as long as they're not EO or oh bother. Oh, the 33 car, oh bother. That was a little bit of a bobble. They're passing it back and forth. I think he hit 4 cars in there, and they still held it straight. They're still single file, except for the guys back here. They're side by side. Cousins is just putting that guy. We're almost 4 wide.
Yeah, these guys are on a move now, almost at the halfway point. I keep looking up and thinking that it's 100 laps, but it's 105. We're still close to the halfway point. Now's the time to move. If you don't need to get tires, if you're full on fuel and you got enough to go to the end, now's the time to move. You got to get up there, get comfortable, and start setting some laps down. You see Langell making his way back into the top 10, all the way up to 8th now. Still some damage on that car, but doesn't really seem to be affecting it that much.
A lot of these guys are looking in the rear view and seeing that handlebar mustache there on the hood, and they're just pulling over. I mean, what else would you do, right?
You see something like that, you just get out of the way. That's scary coming at you. I'm not even sure who that is.
I don't know, but you got the 1,000-yard stare kind of going on, a little bit of drool coming down. I mean, that dude means business. I mean, he's gained 12 spots so far tonight, so it's working for him.
I'm going to say maybe he should decorate the whole car in that.
Can I get like 15 more of this guy, Deckles?
Yeah, I mean, it might work if he's gained that many spots just on the hood. Slap a couple more on.
We were back there looking at that car. We must have missed something. Brett Suggs is up in second. He drove around this whole battle for the top 5, and he's set his sights now in the back bumper of the leader, Richard Drake. He's reeling him in here at this point. Got to take a peek, though, at Chris Roma holding on to the lead of this battle. Back in 3rd, Chris Nagy. All the way back to 4th, Todd Cousins. That 2 car has impressed the stuffing out of me. Todd Cousins is on a mission. He wants to win here on Vidane TV. At least get himself a podium interview at the end of this one.
Yeah, and he's been doing so well, and there's been so many times that he's either just missed the show or just had bad luck, been caught up in something early or caught up in something mid-race, and not been able to show what he can do as he gives Nagy a little bit of a how do you do in the middle of the corner. Clearly, they're ready to go. Nagy, I'm not sure if... Remember how I said he was dirt tracking it a little there? That might have got that right rear a little hot, falling back a little bit, but he's still there. He's still in the mix. Todd Cousins, though, all over his back bumper, and it's only going to be a matter of time before he tries to make a move on him.
Yeah, and you can see there's a lot of debris up in that high groove. A lot of rubbles, as they're called. All the rubber balls coming off of this race car, these tires, and it upsets the handling just a little bit. And you can see Todd Cousins tucking in the tire tracks on a 93 of Nagy for the time being. Kyle Boudreau doing the very same. Everybody else kind of sorting it all out. The 26 big run on the back bumper of Cousins gets up there, just kind of gets him a little arrow loose, just a little bit, and then backs off, just letting him know he's there. Not quite a TC bump, but just kind of letting him know he's there.
Yeah, and that's the major part. So Cousins had to adjust, right? He had a rhythm going, and it was enough, and he got into the back of Nagy, and then got to his outside, and you get a rhythm going, and then when you slide in behind somebody, you almost have to change your, not necessarily braking point, but your let-off points, and you have to readjust to that, and that allows the guy behind you to either have to adjust, or he might give you that little how do you do bump and let him know that you're not alone back there and that you got some friends.
Check in on the lap times there. You can see on the scoring pylon last time by, still running 18.9s throughout the field. The top 2 guys are actually in the 19-second bracket as they cross the stripe last time by. So we'll see what that updates as they come around for another lap or 2. There you see Drake with a 95, and 98 for Suggs, a 96 for Roma, 19 even there for Nagy. So dropping off a tenth or two as we get into about 58 laps in this race, but still not too much drop off, it doesn't seem like.
No, and still very consistent all the way through the field. 18.9s, 18.9s, 19.0s. To me, that's guys being patient. I mean, they were running, I believe they were running 18.2s or 18.4s in the qualifying laps. So they're obviously being patient, saving what they've got. 60 laps down. Still, I want to say still a lot of racing to go, but as you can see, once they go green, these laps tick by very quickly.
They do, and you can take a look at the lap time comparison between Cousins and Drake, and they're about dead even. You can see they're only off by about 100ths or so. Richard Drake back just a little bit quicker that time by. Cousins back here in 5th, but for the most part, everybody relatively even in the top 10.
Yeah, and that's the way to be. You know, there's no point in pushing it until, you know, you got 20 to go, and you need to have something there with 20 to go. Some of these guys who didn't think they may have needed tires or whatever, at this point now they might be thinking if that yellow flies, a set of rubbers, a new set of shoes would be fantastic.
Yeah, set of shoes, you get a good opportunity to kind of stretch the back, stretch the shoulders, grab a little drinky drink, and get back to work. You can see Brett Byron in the 22 car holding on to the 10th position for right now. He's gained himself a couple of spots. Colin Boudreau in the 81 gained 12 spots on the evening. One of the biggest chargers of the night so far, trying to break in to the top 10 for the first time for the evening. Devin Laffin in the 8 car back here as well, and it looks like we got the meatball situation sorted out with the 17 NH of Keith Lord. Still out on track. Everything looks good with the car. And still being scored, so that's definitely good. Would like to be a little bit higher on the pylon, I would imagine, if I know Keith Lord at all from the NAP series. Running 13th right now, and he's got Scott Negus in behind him in the 55 car. We've talked about it a couple of times, actually. The front bumper of that Mustang's seen better days.
Yeah, it has, but it doesn't seem to be affecting him too much. It might be affecting him on the speeds, like I said, straightaway speeds, things like that, but he's still in it. He's not overheating, hasn't blown it up yet, so not in too bad of a shape. He's doing better than I'm doing.
That's a fact. Yeah, he's quicker than the production trailer, that's for sure. Negus completed the pass on Keith Lord. Chantel Pottle, the last driver on the lead lap, but making a big show. That's a major feat for the 05 car, and driven up through the field just a little bit. Got qualified outside the top 25 and gained some spots running P15 for right now, and they're all chasing Richard Drake, and we made mention, you can see the 33 of Brett Suggs in the rear view mirror, and how many times, Ashton, how many times have we seen a 1 versus 1 battle, a slugfest between the 141 of Richard Drake and the 33 of Brett Suggs here on Vidane TV in these TCM races. You can see Suggs closing up on the back bumper. He's getting there. He's got enough time. We're only working a lap number 69. Nice. And you can see Brett Suggs getting right up to the back bumper of Richard Drake. Everybody out here on Vidane TV, you're getting ready for a treat because you're about to see 2 of the best do battle.
Yeah, Richard Drake got a little loose off of 4 there. I think he's probably looking up in his mirror. Spotter's probably saying, you know, he's closing. We know how he drives. We know he's smooth. We know he usually has enough to save to the end. But I don't want to overlook somebody that we saw a lot in the RBR series, you and I announcing that together. Right behind them is Roma. Roma, who's often a contender at the RBR series. He's right there. He's either waiting for that opportunity to jump on or just studying. Watching these guys go at it. He's been part of these battles many, many times. Come out on the good end, come out on the bad end. Either way, he's always seems to be a contender, always somebody to watch. Now he's worked his way up to 3rd, and I don't think he's out of the picture just yet.
He's doing his homework. He's in a really good spot to do his homework for sure. He's able to see what the 141 and the 33 are doing under pressure. More importantly, he's able to save that right rear just a little bit. You can see he's just kind of lagging back just enough to let these guys kind of do their thing. You can see they're not quite side by side. Suggs is pushing the issue just a little bit up in that middle groove. You can see he wants to make that high, wide, and handsome move around the 141 of Rational Richard Drake, but he's looking for timing. He wants to see how Richard Drake's going to react. And We've seen these two go at it so many times before, and you can see Suggs just doing his homework right now, kind of tucking into the tire tracks of the 141, figuring out his rhythm, figuring out his rhyme, seeing when he's going to zig, when he's going to zag, when he's going to move around this racetrack, and that's when he's going to pounce, and that's what makes Brett Suggs the race car driver that he is.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure he saw the 141 slip up 5-6 laps ago and thought that's going to be my opportunity. There it is as he pokes his nose to the bottom. He's not there yet. The 141 across the front bumper.
I was just testing.
Oh, yeah. No, that's all right. We're allowed to test. You know, we're still studying for next week, right? There's going to be a lot of contact on dirt. I'll tell you that now.
That's a fact.
But that was that opportunity. He's watching. He's entering a little higher, staying a little higher, and almost coming across the back bumper. A little loose there. He touched the curb. Those curves are nasty. You want to get down there. You want to get down there as much as you can, but the minute you touch that curb, it eats you up, and that's what just happened there. To go on board with Brett Suggs, he's working the wheel down the backstretch, working the wheel through the corner. He can hook that really well out of turn 3 and 4, and if you can hook that and get on it, that's usually your opportunity to get your nose down there and make something happen. Great entry to the corner, great center, great car off. I wish my car handled like this.
I wish we could get the production truck to even get around the corner into the parking lot like this. But you can see
that's just because they won't let us.
1,000%. And you can see Suggs a couple of laps ago, he was on the back bumper. He was almost pushing the 141 into the corners. He's going to start doing it again here. He's entering a whole car width higher on the racetrack to keep the RPMs up into the
yellows out.
race
Yellows
car.
out.
Caution flag flies. Ah, man, big brain driving from the 33 car.
That was a great run. 20 to go. This is going to be a dash. This is when it gets exciting. Ooh, Brett Byron, and there has been absolutely no luck for that 78.
No, none. No, none for the 22 either. He gets a good shot of, well, the rest of the field. So that's a good move right there. Spotter paying attention. Hey, you got a little bit of room. Pace car driver's going to come in sideways, but that's fine. You see that?
The pace car was sideways.
It was like John Adams was in the pace car from that Miata a couple of weeks ago.
Jeez. Pace car was already dirt tracking.
Oh, Ashton, how about this?
Brett Suggs and was that the 38 on pit road behind them?
Everybody, top 3 stay out. Suggs down. Nagy, Drake, Langell, Tully, Roma, Cousins, Boudreaux.
Sorry.
On pit road.
The 83 also went to pit road.
83 went to pit road as well. Gave up third. Richard Drake was down there as well. And the drivers that stayed out, they're all going to come down. Keith Lord going to come down in the 17, the 8 car. So timing and scoring going to get everything scored out. That 55 car scored as the leader. That car there's nothing straight on that car anymore except for the decals.
So the only thing I can think is that the 55 had to pit early on in that last caution. If he took fuel and tires, he would be set to the end of the race. Now, he'll be at a disadvantage with the guys that just pit. But what a strategy call if this works out and he finishes even in the top 5 for the race he's had.
The story we've been telling all night, we haven't really seen tire fall off. We check in every 25, 50 laps or so, and they've only lost about a tenth, maybe 2/10. Let's take a look. We got the pit strategy length here. Negus has been out there on 44 laps, so he's been out there for a while. But you can see Suggs, Nagy, Tully, Drake, Roma, Cousins, Laughing. They all made 80 laps on a set of tires. So
Negus is a sitting duck. Now, they all made 80 laps on a set of tires taking it easy. This is a 20-lap dash. This is bring everything and throw it at the table, throw it at the flagman, throw it at anything you possibly can. They're just going to go for it.
See, that exact description, that exact introduction is why I'm excited for this 55 car. You put an ordinary man in an extraordinary situation, and you try and expect him to come out on top. He's going to have 21 laps, and he's going to have to hold off some of the best drivers we've seen here at Tim's Corner Motorsports. We can see the car. He'll do whatever it takes with that car. This is going to be a fun restart. 55 down low, 33
Somebody,
up top.
Somebody give him a rubber duck.
One of those screaming chicken thingies. Good restart.
No, the rubber duck. Great restart.
Oh, here comes Suggs, though, with those 2 fresh tires on the right-hand side. Oh, he's hungry. He wants to get that.
See you later.
Take that spot. Yeah, okay, sitting duck. Yeah, get the duck. All right.
Quack, quack, quack.
Oh, no!
Oh, he's getting wrecked.
Oh,
Wrecking big wreck.
Oh, big bada boom. Oh, man. Sorry, Scott.
Oh, no. I was honestly pulling for at least a top 5 for him.
I would have loved to have seen him come home with a good top 5 out of that, for sure. Man, oh, man. There you see the contact. Nagy. Oh, big contact for Nagy, too.
Yeah, it was side contact, so he might be okay. He didn't.
Gathers it back up. Everything's looking good. Oh, look at the black smoke. Nagy's done. That's not Nagy. That's Negus.
Negus, Nagy. I can understand that confusion.
Yeah, the right front's all cattywampus. There's black smoke coming out of the back of that thing. Man, that's a tough break. A heck of a gamble. Heck of a shot for the Negus crew, but unfortunately not going to get it done here tonight. We gather it back up. Suggs up front. Craig Tully. Where did Craig Tully come from?
I mean, it all worked out in the pits because, like you said, they all pit, and then the second group of guys pit behind them. So they ended up working their way back around the front. The shock to me is the 141 back in third. He must have had a longer pit stop. But now he's going to start on the inside. He'll start on the inside behind Brett Suggs, who's also another restart genius. Not the restart king, because that's the 141.
Yes.
But he's great on restarts. So if those two can both pull away, not putting Tully out of this, but he's going to have a heck of a battle to try and squeeze his way between those two.
Yeah, and up in these top 4 or 5 spots between TCM, between RBR, between NEP, none of these guys run NEP. They all run RBR. These guys, they know each other. And a lot of these guys may very well have raced at real racetracks with each other. So they know kind of how they're going to react. They don't really get to use that excuse where, oh, I don't know what he was going to do. I don't know where he was going. They almost race at least weekly, and sometimes we see multiple times a week with these guys up in the top 4 here on VidaneTV. So when you know where the buttons are that you can kind of push with some of these drivers, whether it's a real race or sim race or what have you, heck, it could even be Rocket League. If you know what buttons to push, you may very well be in the catbird seat.
Absolutely. These guys, like you said, these guys have run so often together that Tully's going to know that he can pinch Suggs and Suggs isn't going to come and take him out. And vice versa. Suggs is also going to know that he's going to get pinched, so he's going to have to be prepared for that and might, push him up the track a little bit of Robbins racing.
Yeah, we've talked about the Bloodhound Gang, the Good Touch, Bad Touch, or whatever the heck the name of the song is. Now it's all Bad Touch. You got 15 laps to go. It's time to go. It's time to get it and go get that trophy, that checkered flag, and Brett Suggs showing us why he's the prince of restarts. How about that? Suggs going away.
And just like I said, it was going to be tough for Tully to get down to the bottom because right behind him, the king of the restarts was right there. Got to the inside of Tully and didn't give him the space to get down there. So now the 141 back up into the second position. We've seen him leading all race. We saw him get out early, so we know he has short run speed. So now let's see what he can do if he can run down Suggs. And that's a huge distance, almost a second lead in 2 laps.
Ooh,
I'm pushing up behind wreck behind.
Wide, big wreck in behind. Caution flag number 6 going to fly here tonight. Clean all night long, but when we get down to the nitty gritty here, Ashton, man, these drivers, they want a little something. It seems like.
Yeah, it's just that under 10 to go, you're gonna push your limits, and the 2 car just pushes up the track, nowhere to go. It's tough. That is a tough situation. I don't know if he got part of the car. I think he was just trying to come up the track. The 18 didn't give him much space. There's just a bunch of checking up and Calamity behind them. Yeah, it looks like the 18 just kind of crowds him. going into the corner. I'm not sure why you would be crowding somebody that far back into it. But crowds them off the corner, they get hooked together, and you're just along for the ride at that point. Black into it, Pottle into it. The 93 seems to get out of that unscathed, which is quite impressive because he's a front runner guy. We've been up in the top 5 pretty much all race and got caught back there in that last caution. Now back up in 5th.
Yeah, it's going to take a second to get these drivers kind of sorted out with the timing and scoring here. Going to get a restart with less than 10 laps to go here, Ashton. This has been a wild race. North Wilkesboro never ceases to amaze and entertain here on the iRacing service. And you and I were talking earlier on here tonight. It's so cool to be able to see North Wilkesboro, how they kind of scanned it old school. Obviously, they kind of replaced some of the sponsor logos. There you see the Winston Cup Series logo on the wall there, but it's obviously NASCAR Cup Series. You know, how cool is it to see one of these legendary NASCAR Cup Series tracks back into the iRacing service with late model stocks out here? Like, I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah, especially with the Cars Tour becoming such a big thing. Some NASCAR drivers obviously involved in that series, bringing these cars back. A lot of those NASCAR names are coming back. Your Dale Juniors and Tony Stewart has talked about running. He's got the SRX series that he goes and runs. So it's cool to see all these drivers that I grew up watching, Bobby Labonte, all these guys running open wheeled modifieds and running these old tracks that they used to run or their dads used to run before they got into it.
Speaking of guys running into it again, look at what we're about to witness. Suggs,
the King and the Prince.
Drakes, the King and the Prince of restarts here on VidaneTV, live on VidaneTV. This is going to be a phenomenal start. There you see Tully in the 50 car there as well. Laugh and Nagy, they've been quick all night long, but Suggs going to pull away with it. But for how long? 141 gets a good run on that high side, trying to drive down the racetrack, but Tully is there, going to slide up the racetrack, open the door for Nagy, almost 3 wide there for second, but they're all chasing Suggs in that 33 car with 8 laps to go, 7 as they cross the stripe. They're side by side for second.
Yeah, side by side for second. They're getting close, and
Pottle
it's not.
around.
Oh, there's a wreck. Pottle. Good eye there, Paul. Good eye.
A tough break for Chantal Pottle. Still scored currently in 10th. First car, I believe. Second car, 1 lap down. Going to get pointed in the wrong direction there. We'll back up to U-House Racing Designs instant replay, and we'll get it all sorted out. We'll take a peek at it here. Side by side with the 22. There's the 76. The 76, the 05. They've been racing hard all evening long here. Everything looking good as they come out of 4. Crossing the stripe, getting into 1. There you see a little bit of a bump ski there from the 73. Oh, big contact there for the 113 of Dave Cassidy as well. Chantal Pottle doing everything she can to grab a gear, get rolling once again. Doesn't look like the damage is too bad. Still going to be trapped a lap down there, but holding on to a top 10 right now. Currently scored in 10th.
Yeah, and I wonder if that was little bit of a payback for earlier.
The wrestling world calls that a receipt.
A receipt? Well, that's what I get at the restaurant.
Oh, but that's what you get. Oh, let me tell you about the restaurant we went to after. Oh, wow, no, we don't have enough time to tell that story. But I actually downloaded Yelp to leave a negative review for the first time.
A negative review? There was negative food?
A negative review from the Big Show, Paul Strickland Jr.
Jeez, there's not often that we call food negative.
Well,
it's got to be real bad if it's negative.
When you order a high octane beer and it takes 45 minutes for the table to get their drinks, and then they hand you a non-alcoholic beer because it's orange, same color as my my high octane beer. That's not how you start things off. But in any sense, we're going to get a restart with 3 laps to go, and I think that's what Corey Casagrande was saying about an hour ago when he tuned in. 3. That's all he said. 3. We're going to get a restart with 3 laps to go here between the 141 of Richard Drake and the 33 of Brett Suggs. And Suggs is gone. He's driving off into the sunset.
What a restart. The 141 tried to shut the door. He knew he wasn't clear, but he figured he'd try and pinch down at the 50, would give him a bit of space. Doesn't give him any bit of space, and they're now 2 wide behind. He's going to shut the door there, though. And great on the 50 to not get into the back of him. Don't look now, Paul, but Nagy is back in the picture here on the outside, rolling the outside. A little bit of contact with Tully, but he's into the third position. Not clear yet. I thought he was clear off of 1 and 2.
Down to the wire between Tully and Nagy, but up front, white flag, white rag for Brett Suggs. He's going to hold on to it right now. They're still beating and banging for the third position. Richard Drake holding on to second for as long as he can. The dogfight is for third, fourth, fifth. They make contact in behind. Tully, the 26, looks down low. Nothing there. Craig Tully going to take the third spot. Richard Drake in second, and Brett Suggs coming back from the disappointment at the Snowflake 100, going to come back and win the WingNut Productions late model stock race number 3 here at North Wilkesboro. The 33 car of Brett Suggs coming home victorious. Richard Drake in second, Craig Tully third, Kyle Boudreau going to roll off in fourth, Carson Nagy going to finish in fifth. Strong all evening long in that number 93 car. Devin Laffin, Colin Boudreau, Todd Cousins, Keith Lord, and Chantel Pottle going to round out the top 10. Ashton, that was a hell of a show we just witnessed there, brother.
That was a great finish for the top 5. I think we saw some contact there afterwards with Nagy and Tully there, maybe some displeasures there. But personally, that was a great show. That was exactly how it was supposed to be. The 026 of Boudreau was in the mix also. We kind of overlooked him. You called him out there coming out of 4, and he ended up in 4th. Great run. Top 5. The top 10. Great run by all of them. That was fun to watch. That was a great ending.
Indeed it was. And it's always fun here on VidaneTV to watch the new style of burnout that Brett Suggs bring to the table. And while he's burning them down, we're going to watch it in slow motion here on the monitor, but I think you're down there talking to him in victory lane. Ashton, you've caught up with tonight's winner, Brett Suggs.
Brett, another grazing. I'm adding words together. Amazing race. Coming from the back this time, come from the LCQ all the way up to the front. How was that for you coming from the back?
It was a lot of fun, Ashton. It was kind of just a one-by-one type of race there. Aside from Tully, I'm pretty sure I took Tully 3 wide on accident at one point. Sorry, Tully. But no, it was a lot of fun. A lot of good racing with these guys up front. Tully, Richard, Chris, and all the Romo cousins there. Just a lot of fun racing with them. Couldn't have asked for a better looking car, clean car there at the finish, and didn't do a burnout. We saved the burnout. Didn't want to blow up another motor on the week, so saved the burnout for another time.
Yeah, I wasn't going to bring up the elephant in the room. A rough weekend for you. Still a great showing. Really cool to see you out at Five Flags going for the Snowflake. I know you guys changed a motor in something like 9 hours. Give us a rundown how your weekend went in the real world.
Yeah, it started off pretty good. A lot of these teams, a lot of these crybabies on Facebook think we're dropping 30 grand on a weekend when that's just not the case. I mean, some teams are out there doing that, buying 7 sets of tires for one race. We bought 1 set of tires the whole weekend. And we were pretty confident in the car and the race speed. And then as we mentioned there, just lost the motor in the last practice and had to go from a Chevy to a Ford. And anybody that works on cars and isn't on Facebook being a keyboard warrior would realize that it's not as easy as just dropping a motor in there. You've got to change literally everything from bell housing to radiator to wiring. The list goes on and on. I mean, like you said, we worked on 9 hours for Friday when it blew up, and then all day Sunday, and then we took it to the track Monday. Not a lap of practice to it, and it wasn't meant to be. I mean, we faced some challenges with it. Had an insane vibration from first lap on track and qualifying, and just kind of threw our balance off. It's a shame. I feel like if we would have gotten, say, 1 or 2 laps of practice, we could have dialed it in a little bit, but wasn't meant to be. And we'll regroup and definitely not take it out on Facebook. We're gonna just keep our heads down and work on what we got and go get them next year.
Absolutely. Still really cool for myself. I told a lot of people watching the stuff that I talked to that guy, never met him, talked to him on the stream all the time. Really cool to see you out there. Congratulations again. Who helps you get here? I know there's a lot of guys that help you do it in real life and on the sim rig. So give them a shout out and congratulations again.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Just big shout out to you and Vidane and Tim's Corner Motorsports, everything you guys do to put this league on for our iRacing fun. It's neat to be able to hop on here and do a little bit of racing during the week. Always a blast. But in terms of the real world stuff, Lake Norman Power Cleaning, Truist Sports and Entertainment, we had them on the car for 5 Flags and hoping to put some deals together for next year as well to bring them back, as well as LMI Task Pack. We also have North Creek Construction. Everybody at TH Motorsports and Bryson Lopez Racing, they had that never quit attitude. And we were all hands on deck working on the car this past weekend. So big shout out to them. Also want to dedicate this win to Brandon Campbell. I know he's a big fan, follows a lot of the racing we do, IRL, and pretty much anything we do in our lives. So big shout out to him and his buddies. Hopefully this one looks good for them. And just happy to be here and happy to race with these guys for fun.
Awesome. Congrats again. I think Paul, you've caught up with Tully over there.
Indeed, I have the 3rd place finisher here tonight, and I gotta ask Craig, the Chrome 50, the Chrome decals that we've seen on that car, they add a little bit of horsepower to this rig, don't they?
Oh yeah, I think it adds like 10 or something. That's credit to Chris Roma. He put that scheme together. I think a few of us run it. Gold is key, man. Gold is key.
Absolutely, gold is king indeed, and always looking sharp in those RBR cars. Not a great qualifying effort here tonight, but man, oh man, you definitely paid off in the big show here tonight. 11 spots gained on the evening, 2nd or 3rd in line for most spots gained, and you come home in 3rd. Talk to us about that last run to the finish.
Yeah, I've never been a good qualifier, and honestly, I still have yet to figure these cars out. I think I saturated myself with the super lates a little too much, and still think I'm in one of those. So I still haven't figured these things out. But yeah, I just got lucky. I usually get caught up in something, but just drove through everything. And these races are harder and harder, especially this year. There's a group in this that just likes to wreck constantly. So it's not fun racing. It's hard to actually finish one of these races with that group. But I just squeaked through. Had a decent pit stop, and track position was awesome.
Putting on a clinic for sure in that number 50 Toco electric ride. And coming into the show here, did you have any kind of game plan getting into it? Did you think at any point you were just going to come down kind of halfway through, maybe slap some tires on this thing to help out with the handling, or were you kind of playing it by ear for the first part of it?
I had no plan. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure these cars out. And like I said before, our group comes into it thinking we're just going to get wrecked because it's kind of what this is right now. But so no plan. But once it started kind of looking decent and I was running in the top 10 most of the night, I started kind of thinking of things. I took right sides on my pit stop and a little bit of fuel, and off we went. And it was awesome.
One of the veterans here in the sim racing world, putting on a clinic here for us, getting up into the top 3. Who gets you to and from the virtual racetrack here, and where are we going to see Craig Tully next?
Well, I'd make the ear sound, but I already cracked one, so it's halfway gone now. But no, I'd like to thank you guys. Obviously, I think I got Vidane on the car. Actually, I got a Vidane sticker on the car. Tim for putting this on. He gets great numbers. It's all mostly local guys. It's fun to come on and shoot the poop with the group. Congrats to Brett. And I mean that kid almost qualified for super late race or a pro late race at 5 Flags. There's not many of these keyboard warriors that could say that. They probably couldn't even afford a ticket at the show. But I mean the guy's down there. And shout out to him for winning it. That's about it. The boys at RBR, I think Todd had a good run. Some guys got caught up in a little bit of the late there, and some guys didn't qualify. We won't name those names, but to the RBR boys.
Picking them up, putting them down. Another good showing here for the Toco electric number 50 car. Craig, great run here tonight.
I appreciate it, Paul.
Absolutely. And Ashton, between keyboard warriors and shooting the poo, we've got another T-shirt in the making here. And one of the guys that's already got a T-shirt on Vidane.net is the Rational One, Richard Drake, and you've caught up with our 2nd place finisher.
Yes, I have, and he's down here. He had a great run all day, all night, up at the front for most of it. Richard, what did you need to catch Brett Suggs?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun racing with him. I think I may have done the strategy call wrong, getting 4 tires there. He passed us in the pits with the 2-tire strategy and didn't seem to slow him down too much, nor Craig, who I think also took them. So still learning to play with what the value of the left sides are. I think actually last week at granted it was the supers, we took 2 and were able to set the fast time of the race on the 2 tires after the pits there. So maybe I should have just had more faith on the right sides, but either way it would have been a toss up because I think we were pretty even match, and both of them are excellent caliber drivers.
Absolutely. You took off early. You were leading it. You mentioned tires that maybe were a factor there. What does it lead to, and where are you going next?
Yeah, I just keep trying to improve slowly, little bits here and there, and that was actually a personal best when I looked at the tire wear on coming into the pits for saving for my right sides on that length of a run on that rough of a track. So clearly I'm making small improvements. So obviously it would be nice to get a win, especially after leading so many laps there. But nonetheless, I'm happy to see the personal progress and just trying to keep getting her done and learning for when I can get behind the wheel of a late model on asphalt in real life. So going for that.
Is that you revealing that you guys are looking to come back to Scotia Speed World?
Oh, I've been looking since I left, man. Absolutely.
That's right.
If the goal is there, if anyone needs a driver in a late model or a super late, I'm your guy. I'm happy to do so. But we're having a lot of fun on dirt at Roughneck Racing in Liverpool in the meantime, and I understand that they're putting on some winter races for us. So still running my old Scotia Neon there and having a blast on dirt.
Awesome. I don't know what that's about. So obviously you still got the car in the real world. Who helps you get here? Who helps you in the real world? And who do you got to thank?
Yeah, well, I'll just since we started on the note of t-shirts, I'll put out a thanks to Paul for making that for me. My family and I all love our Rash shirts. We've worn them out considerably. I think I got to place another order. So everybody get the Rash shirts at VidaneTV. Big thanks to my dad Ken for spotting for me all these times. It's a blast working with him always. He always brings me to a heightened level of competition, and that's a lot of fun. Shoutouts to Eric, Janetta, and Pat for watching me here, and big thanks as always to the Laker News. Laker.ca. Go check them out for your local news, and Covey's Auto Recyclers.
Awesome. That's it for me, Paul. Great run by all 3 of the top drivers here tonight. Really, like I said earlier, the top 10. Great run by everybody. It was a great show. Another great one. I enjoy getting in behind the wheel for 30-something laps, and then coming up here with a hot dog and a double cheeseburger for you.
Absolutely, and Tim's actually, well, he came up from the bar. He's got a couple of daiquiris here for us from the big red trailer down there. Tim, relatively smooth show here tonight.
Yeah, from your guys' standpoint, we've got some conduct issues that we have to worry about, and a couple of other things that we're looking at in the background to kind of fine tune for Friday. But we'll. Hopefully everybody enjoys the brand new iRacing build coming out tomorrow. Hopefully they don't have any more hiccups, and we'll move to Slinger iRacing's brand new piece of content on Friday for the Toco Electric Super Late models. For those that are interested, setup should be available, I believe, Thursday morning. The boys at Team Conti are actually building our setups here for the next three super races. Yeah, good name to come back to and everything else. So Conti and Hastings and Ottinger and them are helping us out a little bit. So excited to have them on board, and hopefully we put on a show on Friday, and then tentatively we are racing next Tuesday with a couple of street stock races, kind of throw it back a little bit and have a little bit of fun. Congratulations to Brett Suggs. Great effort tonight, and good to see Rational Richard back on the podium, and good to see that old 50 machine up there as well. And by the way, Ashton, your show, the non-qualifiers race coming up in January. Congratulations to pat on the back to yourself, Dave Horton, Terry Dugay, and Taylor Layton. 4 races so far, missed all 4 shows. You guys are fighting each other out for the top of the starting grid on that one.
Yeah, I'm determined that even if I'm in a qualifying spot come the LCQ, I will probably park it on the front stretch before the line.
Just make sure you don't park it like Josh Williams did, and we'll be all fine.
We should be good.
It's working out pretty good for him.
Yeah, something like that. And you got a good ride out of that. Tim's Corner Live. Tomorrow night, we've got, I'm still waiting on a couple of guests. We got James Urquhart, and we got the boys from Sydney. We got Jesse Rowe, Corey Aker, who's our Mallard Electric Hobby Stock champion at Buds, and Mike McDougall, who was the one that put up an extra $1,000 for a 15-lap or 20-lap feature earlier this season. Rookie of the Year, and also sponsor that division. That's going to be a neat conversation tomorrow. So join us then for that one. We have one more guest I think we're trying to confirm as well. And then Thursday night, you guys are here for NEPs. Don't you guys do something on Wednesday night here too, Paul?
Yeah, we're all over the place now. We got a pretty solid schedule heading into December and January. Tomorrow night, race number 2 in the Turn 4 podcast iRacing series. Great to have DJ Gerard and the boys on board with that one. They put on a heck of a show last Wednesday night, and we're back at it tomorrow night with some late model stocks here tomorrow night. NEP back at Stafford on the 7th on Thursday night. We're back here with the Toco Electric Super Late Models under Tim's Corner Motorsports on Friday night, and then we're right back at it next week here as well. We do still have some primetime slots available Sunday, Saturday, Monday, still available here on Vidane TV. Definitely get slide in our DMs, as it were, if you want to get your iRacing League out into the iRacing world, out into the interwebs, as it were. But that's going to wrap things up here for us here tonight. Again, we're live on all the social media outlets. We're on Facebook for TCM, Tim's Corner Motorsports, Vidane TV. We're over on the YouTube page for Vidane TV. We're on Twitch, Strictly94. We're on Twitter, Vidane TV. I think we're on TikTok. We might be on TikTok. I'm not sure. We'll have to double check on that. But there's definitely some Vidane TV shorts, at least, over there on TikTok. And we may mention there's going to be some t-shirts added into that store. Vidane.net, shoot on over to that virtual merchandise trailer. But for tonight, I think we're going to put a cap on it. We are all done from North Wilkesboro for Vidane TV, for Tim's Corner Motorsports, for the WingNut Productions Late Model Stock Series. We'll catch you on the flip side. And when we do, we will be doing it live.